Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Square One Forge. So I was always taught you gotta start clean to end clean. And the first project we're working on, we'll be getting this anvil 3 inches taller. Right now it's at 33 inches, and I'm gonna have it set up at 36 inches. Some folks might disagree with me and say that that's too tall of an anvil. The rule of thumb in blacksmithing is that your working surface should be knuckle high. This anvil is clearly already higher than that. I find often I'm bending over or I'm getting a wide stance to get myself lower. So I'm gonna alleviate those problems today by raising up the stand here by 3 inches. Got some 2x6 pressure treated I'm gonna use, and I'm going to actually widen the anvil stand also. As you can see, the feet of my anvil hang off just a bit. So we're gonna unchain it, we're gonna get everything nice and clean, we're gonna get the woodwork done, and we're gonna bring this thing up to the right height, and we're gonna get some blacksmithing done today. So hang out, check it out, enjoy the show. So I'm gonna start off by knocking everything down. So I'm gonna start off by getting my anvil unbolted from its stump. This is a piece of 12x12 pine from a local mill. It started off its life as an 8-foot section, which I cut down with a single person crosscut saw. It was a lot of fun, and by a lot of fun I mean it was terrible. If you got somebody to help you out with a 2-person crosscut, or if you got a chainsaw that runs really well, or if you have a bandsaw that'll cut 12 inches. Any of those options would be better than doing it with a single person crosscut, but that's what I had at the time. So this stump is currently not tall enough. And what I'm gonna do is add 3 inches to it. Sometimes in life all you need is 3 inches. What you're gonna end up with is a stump that's gonna give me a 36-inch table height on my anvil. I'm also going to be widening the stump by adding some girth to the outside by scabbing on some 2x6s. And what it's gonna do is give me enough room to have my anvil fully rested on the stump, be really secure. I'm going to remove all the hardware. I've got a hook here for my wire brush, and I've got some accessories in the back. I've got some punches and some other stuff that need to get out of the way. So what I'll be doing is getting rid of those, and then I'll be moving the anvil up onto a higher surface. That way, when the stump gets taller, I can walk it from the already taller surface up at just a couple inches back onto the new stump. We're gonna get going now, and I'll show you what we're doing. This is just a homemade turnbuckle system. Basically, I'm using 90-degree brackets with these hooks that I just hand forged right through them. They're just bent up to hold the chain in place. And as you tension the nut, it's gonna pull the anvil down quiet. And what that does is really just alleviates the ring. Some of these older anvils and a lot of the London pattern style anvils are essentially a tuning fork. You've got a long heel and a long horn, and they ring. So when you chain them down, keep them on something solid, it deadens the ring. Got neighbors not too close by, but close enough where I don't need them to hear this thing singing its song all day long. So try to keep it quiet, and it's better for your ears. Gotta wear hearing protection anyway. Gonna make this a little bit taller. Gonna get the next platform over here so I can walk this up onto it. I'll show you that next. I've got everything off the stump. I've got the chains removed from the anvil waist, and I've got the turnbuckles pulled out, unbolted. What I'm gonna do now is walk that anvil up onto the new stand. You guys have seen this from an old video. This is for my BB Noise swage block, which is actually laying back over here in the corner. And this stand is just a bit taller than the current stump. So I'm gonna walk the anvil onto the stand, and then when I'm done building this stand taller, I'm gonna walk it off this stand up onto the next one. So this is a 295-pound anvil. Wish me luck. So this is my 295-pound Peter Wright. It is stamped England, so that means it's post 1910 or later. I believe this to be about a 30s or 40s anvil. The way it survived was it came over here and it was in a shipyard down in the southern part of the state. I live in New Hampshire, and that would explain the battleship Gray. I believe its designated service was a naval yard. It then was sold in auction and went to a machine shop in Massachusetts, where I bought it from the owner who bought it from that auction. When he got it, he said it was covered in a thick layer of oil, and it had not been abused, it had not been beaten, it has very little sway. He was a machinist, and what he did do was he ran his end mill over the surface of it, and you can very lightly see swirl marks where he did so. It's pristine. It's got a few dings where I was learning and screwed some stuff up, but other than that, this anvil is beautiful. It is marked 2215, giving you a weight of 295 pounds. It's got a W. I believe that to be the inspector's mark. I'm not 100% sure. If you know better than I do, drop it in the comments below. It is stamped solid wrought, and it is stamped Peter Wright England. So the England stamp came when they had to export out of England. I believe that to be after 1910. So pretty old piece of history here. potentially be more than 100 years old. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna walk this guy up onto my swedge block stand for my BB Noise swedge block, which you guys saw in a previous video. If you haven't, go check it out. We're gonna do that now, and like I said, 295 pounds, not a light anvil, so I'm gonna be very cautious. And if I drop it, you won't see it, but if I don't drop it, you'll see it. Here we go. Perfect. Now a lot of folks are gonna say, well, now it's higher than you wanted. It looks to be about 3 inches. It's actually 4 inches taller now, so it's gonna be at 37 inches, and it's just a little bit too tall. Also, if I use this swedge block stand as my anvil stand, I don't have a stand for my swedge block. So we're gonna modify this one, make it work and fit our needs. Check it out. So this project is one of those, you have an idea, and as you build it, you kind of work through it. Currently what I'm gonna do is scab these 2x6s onto the exterior of that stump that I was using as my stand. It gives me the height I need, but then I have this big hole here. So what I'm also going to do is use some other timber that I got laying around to fill this in and bring it up to level. Then when I'm done, I'm gonna plate the entire top with a piece of plywood, and that'll give me a nice flat working surface at the right height that I want. It's gonna take me some work, so I'll show it to you when I'm done. And if there's anything interesting along the way, I'll fill you in, let you know how it goes. So far, so good. Enjoy the day. So how many of you would want to sit on the floor of your shop? How many of you would want to actually sit on the floor of your shop or lay on the floor of your shop? My shop is a garage, so it's not a dirt floor, but it's not entirely disgusting. I'll lay on the floor in here. And the reason I always tell people about this phrase is because it just stuck with me. It's super true, it makes sense, and it works. So if you begin a project and you have everything laid out, including your plan on how to work the project, or whatever it is, this applies to all kinds of stuff in life. If you have a plan and you work your plan, you will get to your goal, and that's what life is all about. If you can set goals and obtain them, do it. No matter what, be happy. Life is so short. My grandmother once said, eat dessert before dinner, John. Life is too short. Thanks, Graham. I'm gonna do that. I like dessert, as you can tell. Trying to lose some of that, but it's a journey. So we're here, and you gotta start clean to end clean. Sit on the floor of your shop, even if it's dirt. It's fun. Hashtag floor of your shop. Put some photos up. I'd like to see them on Instagram, Square One Forge, and we can discuss this in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this process. How do you work in your shop? Tell me how I should work in mine. We can see if we agree. If we don't, that's what it's for. So thanks for checking it out. Follow your dreams. You can do anything you want. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Sweet, so that's the first side done. We've got these on here. These are 2x6 PT, and they're gonna give us the height we need. It's gonna create a little cradle. So far that's the first side. We'll do this side next, and we'll continue on our merry way. So, got the first side done. Gonna do the second side, gonna line them up. I'm going to keep the profile of the current base. It was fairly stable where I had it set up, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it true. Any imperfections I will fix with the planer after I'm done. I can do that both to the base of the stump and to the pieces that I'm scabbing on. We're gonna end up with a nice crib up top to fill up with some blockers, and that'll give us the height we're looking for. Check it out. Starting off with an 1/8 inch drill bit, and I'm checking the depth to make sure I'm going through both my 2x6 and into my stump. Just a hair, that way I know where I'm going when I set the screws in. So we're gonna start down about 3 inches from the base. Drill fast, screw slow. Ooh-wee, that got a little away from me there, so we're gonna make sure when we set that down, it's where we want it. When we get the drill bit lined back up with our first hole, we are able to know that we're in the same spot we started. That's a good way to break your drill bit. Now we're gonna screw it. Sweet, second side is done. On to the third and fourth. So the original stump has some checking, and I want to avoid screwing into that because it's a big crevice. So I'm going to separate these two boards to the outside edge, and I'm going to fill the center with a piece that I rip on the table saw. Do you guys remember that old Andy Samberg song, Threw It on the Ground? That song plays in my head every time I drop a screw. Last one. One more side to go. I'm not sure if this box of screws says it, but I like when the box of screws says, do not put in mouth. It's like, I totally get hanging a screw once in a while because you got to do it, but like, just the way they word it makes it sound like people are eating these things. I don't think anybody's eating screws. If you're eating screws, leave it in the comments below. Oh, drill's getting tired. Last screw. Got me one of them D-walls. That's a fast tool right there. Yellow is a real fast tool. All right, so we got all 4 sides of our new footprint. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. So what we did there, if you can see, is we created a nice cavity, and we're going to fill that cavity with filler. I've got other 5/4 and some other timber laying around that I'm going to cut to size and get this thing full up, and then I'm going to screw those in through the exterior of all of these. It'll make it really, really solid. Okay, this is the first test fit of my top blocks. They're tight, that's a good thing. Now it needs to move over just a hair, but I think we're good to go. Get this thing sweet and level. Put a piece of 1/2 inch on top of it. Sweet. So I'm cutting the last piece for the top of the anvil stand. I'm gonna cut it out of 1/2 inch plywood. Here we go. So we got our final top piece on. We're going to screw this down with a little bit smaller of a screw. Instead of those 3.5 inch construction screws, we're going to use a 1.5 inch decking screw. Got to make sure it's real secure. Actually, I used rubber lined fire hose underneath here, so it's going to deaden the clapping of the wood. It is all screwed together in every direction, so it shouldn't move very much, but it's going to have a little bit of clap to it just because it's wood. Right now we're just going to deck it and we'll be good to go. Whoa, did I just start recording? Sweet. There we go. Decked. Gonna get the anvil back on top. This will be fun. What you know about rolling down in the deep? So we got the anvil stand modified to a height that I like a lot. Grab a tape and I'll tell you exactly what I got. I wanted 33 inches. No, I didn't. I wanted 23 inches. I ended up with 24. So I'm an inch taller, and I essentially am the exact same height as I was going to be over here. So this will be my new anvil surface height, just a smidge lower. I'm fine with that. It'll be really easy to walk the anvil back over from this stump to that stump, and I'll still have my swedge block stand. It's all going to pan out. So through the power of editing, I'm going to show you all that. Once it's all back together, check it out. So here it is, the completed stand. The anvil's on it. It's set down nice. It is quiet. That's the kind of ring you want in the shop where you've got neighbors dead. You got a little bit on the horn and the heel, but that's to be given. When you're working something out here, generally it's very hot. You don't want to be striking these parts of the anvil with a blow. There's potential to break heels and horns off. I've not seen it in person, but I've seen anvils who have suffered that loss. So I'm extremely, extremely happy with that. And again, I'm 5'6". I don't want to be bent over all day long. My arms are stocky. I want to work right here where I can work on my piece and be comfortable in any relationship to the anvil. So very, very, very happy with the anvil stand. If you have any questions about it, drop them in the comments below. I'm going to get to work, light the forge, and make some iron. So quick walk around of the new stand. It came out really nice. I'm very happy with it. It's extremely heavy, much heavier than the old one. And it looks good. It works well for what I'm trying to do with it. Got the turnbuckles tightened down nice, so there's very little ring. And I'm excited to start working with this project here. Really happy with the outcome. Thanks for watching.